Hello and welcome to Workhorse Wrestling Network. You are gathered with us tonight for the most chaotic wrestling review show in the multiverse. This is All for
NAWT not.
Not.
Yes.
That was
Another
pretty
week
good.
of all for not. That was pretty good. Assuming you were deliberately trying to be after me on the knot. So assuming that was the point, then it worked out well.
Oh,
You
I
were trying
thought
to
I
be.
thought we did it at the same time.
Oh, well, then maybe there's a delay on my end because it sounded like you were a couple seconds behind me on my end, but it is what it is. Either way, I thought it came off pretty good. So yes, we are back again for another episode of All for Not. It is me, ALW, with your boy Slammin' Sammy Joe. We're gonna talk
What?
about first of all, we're gonna talk about how you kicked the shit out of everybody last night on Name That Superstar. Sheesh, that
Yeah.
was a that was a stomping. Holy smokes!
There was no charades, no guessing theme songs, no drawing pictures. It was
It was all just
statistics and
wrestling
facts.
knowledge, statistics and facts. Yep. So that was fun. If you guys are checking this out, go back and check out the cookout from last night, September 26th, Tuesday, September 26th. We played Name That Superstar. We had Chase Oliver from Around the Point come on and try his luck. He ended up in second place. He had a good run. And he ended up
Hmm.
in last place. And Sammy took the title from Anika last night. Sammy had quite the showing. So go back and check that out.
I,
It was fun.
I think I got two wrong, one in the first round, one in the second round, and zero wrong in the final round.
Yeah, no, you were definitely in the zone last night. So, all right. So I guess let's crack into it. We
I
are
I
going to
I
talk.
I, I will give all the credit to Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh yeah, with that Savage stick I was eating during.
We will be starting with a Raw from this week, from September 25th, with the Raw Roundup. Let's see. It started with Cody Rhodes. It's the second week in a row. Is that second week or third week? Second week in a row that Cody's been the show opens and the music hits and it's Cody in the ring. Last week he was dressed for wrestling. This week he's in his suit. He comes down to the ring. He starts talking. He talks for
I
a minute.
mean, it's either he starts the show or Judgment Day starts the show, and a lot
Well,
of times it's both of them together.
yeah, as you're about to hear, it became both of them together. So Cody started the show. Uh, he got a huge pop from the crowd. He spoke for a few minutes and then he was interrupted by the Judgment Day, which ultimately devolved into Cody and Dominic talking shit to each other. And then Judgment Day said enough of this and they were going to attack Cody and your boy, main event Jay Uso, comes down to
So
stand with Cody Rhodes in the ring. Then the big head shows up with the chair, JD McDonough, and he joins in on the side of the Judgment Day. He's still trying to award favor, find himself curry some favor with Damian Priest and Dominic. So Finn's already in for JD in the Judgment Day, but they're trying to.
I
He
think
wants to get
Dominic
Finn.
likes him.
I think Dom likes him. It's Priest that's really kind of whatever. And with Rhea out, we don't really know where her stand is on it. I mean, she kind of mentioned. She kind of looked at him a couple across before she was off the show a couple weeks ago, but who knows? Definitely it's Finn's boy. So he came out, steel chairs. Excuse me. I got this cough again that I'm trying to get rid of. I
Yeah,
apparently have a little bit of a
me
cold.
and JD are not the same. If somebody talked to me that Damian Priest talked to him, like it would have been
Uh,
on.
and this basically just went off the air with all these guys kind of fighting each other. Um, and when we came back on the air, we had Otis versus Bronson Reed in a big, beefy, big meaty men slapping meat match, a Big E special. Um, so, Bronson Reed won with the tsunami. picked up the clean win over Otis. I'm not totally sure why we're having this match or what the outcome of it is. I mean, I know guys got to wrestle, and so it is what it is. I mean, I kind of enjoyed it.
I dug the statistics that they showed before the match of, Bronson's 2 inches taller and he's got 2 inches wider arm span, but Otis's chest is 2 inches thicker.
I did. It's interesting. Like, there's a difference between big guys that are shaped like Otis and Bronson Reed and big guys that are shaped like, say, Braun Strowman or Bobby Lashley, right? So, it when you
Well, also Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman are big in different ways too. Like Braun has a lot more height, but like
right, sure.
bit
But I'm just talking about the difference in physique styles. When you get two kind of robust
Bobby's like the most
wrestlers,
muscular I think in the company. Is there somebody that's like more muscular than Bobby?
no, probably not. No, I wouldn't think so. Not definitely that's not as ripped and cut. I mean, no, definitely not. But when you get two robust fellows in the ring like Bronson Reed and Otis, the moves look interesting. They both kind of looked at times to me like T-Rexes fighting. Their arms almost don't look. I know it's I don't mean to sound insulting. It's just what it came to mind. Like it's interesting. Like I don't have a problem with it. I mean, like I said before on this show, if I was a wrestler, my body shape would be akin to probably Otis and or Bronson Reed somewhere in that vicinity. So I can appreciate it, and I'm here for it. It looked odd a couple times. It's interesting to see two big guys. That's a little bit different than like like I was saying, like a Braun Strowman and a Big E, who are in different kinds of shapes. So it just nothing wrong with it. Again, I love the match. It just looked funny a couple times. So
I don't know if I'm
um,
more of a Kevin Owens or a Josh Briggs. I'm somewhere in there though.
yeah. Then we got our uh, regular weekly IC champion segment where we've got Champa who's chasing Gunther now for his shot at the Intercontinental Championship. And as Gunther has said more than a few times, if you want a shot at me, you have to get past both of my henchmen. I believe it was last week he beat Vinci. This week he's taken on Kaiser. So it's Tommaso Ciampa versus Kaiser, and Ciampa gets the win. It was okay. I mean, it was what it was. Both guys, can wrestle. I like that Ciampa got the win as he should. There's no surprise there. That was pretty predictable because it's obviously Ciampa going to be wrestling Gunther at Fastlane for the Intercontinental Championship. I'm assuming. I mean, they
Which
didn't
I
actually
would
formally announce that yet, but I'm assuming that's what's going to happen.
which I would really dig, but it feels like they're trying to get back to Chad Gable. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not totally sure.
But like I'd
Then
be
we,
down for Champa holding gold again.
yeah,
Champa's great.
yeah. No, I like Ciampa, and he even called the IC title Goldie, even though it's technically not the NXT championship. I guess it doesn't matter what belt it is. Any gold he holds is Goldie. So, um, which I think is funny. I'm here for it. So then we had a segment where we had Tegan Knox backstage, and Becky Lynch. And Becky Lynch was asking her why she let Natty kind of take her place in last week's open challenge. And Tegan said, well, we were both in gorilla position, and Natty just kind of stepped forward and took it. And she's a veteran, so I let her. And Becky said, no, no, don't do that. And so you need to stand up for yourself. And then we had um, Natty and Tegan talking to Adam Pierce, both trying to vie for a shot at Becky. And so Adam Pierce decided to give them a match against each other. So we get Tegan Knox versus Natty. And Tegan wins in what was kind of a match that I don't know, didn't do a whole lot for me. What about you? What did you think of it? Anything to say about this whole storyline?
It's fine, but I have it in my head canon that Becky's holding that title until Jade beats her.
And so, yeah, that's highly possible. Here's my question, right? Like, I understand that you bring these main roster stars, veterans down to NXT to elevate NXT. You put the title on Becky Lynch to elevate NXT. but now she's on Raw, where she's got an open title or open whatever you want to call it. I'm drawing a blank on the word open challenge to anyone, but it's only challenged by people on the main roster, Tegan Knox and Natty. Neither of them are technically NXT stars, so you're not really elevating NXT because none of the NXT women are really getting a shot at Becky as the NXT champion. So I'm not sure I totally understand. Um, but
Uh, Dominic wrestled Sami Zayn for the North
yeah,
American Championship. That was another thing that they did. So it's not unheard of. It's something that they do.
oh yeah, no, it's definitely not unheard of. It's just odd to me. I don't know. So then, yeah, Tegan versus Becky. Tegan got the win. Then
Just
we had
put eyes on NXT, because more people watch Raw. If they can get some of the Raw viewers to be like, okay, I'll check out NXT tomorrow, then it's a victory for
yeah, yeah. But then I'm trying to think. I don't even think.
them. They're
I
trying to
mean, we
put
did
over NXT more so than NXT stars here.
right. I'm just trying to remember now because it's all blending together. But I don't even think that we had Becky. Becky wasn't even on NXT this week, despite this on Raw and her match against Tiffany at No Mercy next week or this Saturday,
They
not next week, this Saturday.
they definitely had packages. They
Yeah, they
definitely
did. They
had
had video
packages.
packages. But she wasn't there live, so I don't know.
I
I
don't
guess
think
it
she
is what
was.
it is. Uh, then we go on to your boy, the visionary Seth Rollins in the
He's my boy.
ring. I don't know. I just like to say that.
Mox is my boy.
Everybody's boy.
Mox is my boy.
Seth Rollins, the crowd loves his song. He's in the ring. He's talking shit about Shinsuke. He wants to give
Boo!
him one more opportunity to accept his match.
How dare
Shinsuke
anybody talk shit about Shinsuke?
Shinsuke responds on the Titantron and says, "Only if it is a last man standing match." And Seth says, "Sure, absolutely, let's do it." So we will get Seth freaking Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the championship, I assume at Fastlane next month. Um, so that should be interesting. I'm definitely here for that. Then we
I think Shin
had
needs backup.
you think Shin needs backup? Yeah. I
I
mean that's
I
what
think he
Seth
needs
really has
somebody
anybody.
with him,
Yeah. Like
but
who?
most
As
of
long
Seth's
as it's not
career is
fucking
going to
Rick
be.
Boogs again.
Well, he can't. He's not with the
I
company
know, but
now.
that's what I'm saying. Just that's I don't know. For me, that was like I know people like that, but that was like the height of the low point for me for Shinsuke. Like he's here with this really cheesy bad singer dude. That's like, what have they done to my boy here? Like, holy shit! I mean, if you're gonna put him with someone like that, then this is way better for me. At the same time, I can't lie and say that there isn't a little bit of a language barrier issue. I mean, his promos don't come off great in English. He probably still needs somebody either bring in a translator so he can speak in Japanese and they just translate for him, or he needs somebody else to do the bulk of the talking for him. Um, I
I
you know
mean, I think that even like just having like a legend like Muda
yeah.
or a personal favorite of mine, Jushin,
Uh,
because like that would I think that would be real big just having somebody standing there with him.
yeah, yeah. I
I
mean, I
miss the
don't.
days of him and Sami Zayn together.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when they were the Artist Collective, or when he was
Hmm.
with the Artist Collective. Yeah, I mean, but I like this Shinsuke too. I really, 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 really hope they take the cue and put the belt on him at Fastlane. Like they got to do it now. Like I mean, this is it, right?
He'd
I
be
mean,
the
this
first East Asian champion because they don't recognize Inoki.
in theory, like how many more? I mean, he's only gotten a couple to begin with, and how many more will he get? Like, if you're not gonna do it with, if you're ever gonna do it with Shinsuke, you got to do it now. Like, I mean, his time is running out as far as career goes. He's already old, well, not old, but older, And I mean, I just you've only given him a
They should
couple
have
in the last 10 years he's been in the company. So how many more is he realistically gonna get? Like,
they should have done it SummerSlam of 2017.
when was the to remind me of what was going on then? Because I don't really
It
remember
it was
what's
him
going on.
versus Jinder Mahal for the
Oh,
WWE
yes.
Championship.
Yes, that's right. Well, yeah, the fact that Jinder was champion and retained over anybody, let alone Shinsuke, is a fucking travesty ever. Like that should all
Yeah.
be stricken from the record.
And then instead of having Shen win Royal Rumble, they should have had AJ win the Royal Rumble and then have the match at Mania and then have AJ go over there.
That makes
And we
sense.
would have had Shinsuke versus Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series, which would be a rematch from their match a decade prior.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If
Yeah,
WWE was willing to tell a New Japan story.
yeah. That led us to our next part of the show, which was the NXT North American title match between Dom and Dragon Lee.
Pretty
Dominic
good.
Mysterio retained. I honestly, I think I've said this before, but it's always evolving. So this might have been Dominic's best match to date
Yeah.
so far. I mean, I thought
I
he
don't
looked,
know the one with his dad at Mania, but
yeah, but I think he's getting better in the ring. I thought his movements
hmm
in the ring looked better tonight or last night on this show, in this match, than they have in the past. They actually gave him a chance to do some moves. Dragon Lee's good. There were a couple moments where I felt like Dragon Lee was carrying him a little bit, but he's a veteran and should probably still at this point. So, you know, uh,
Dom is night and day from where he was 3 years ago as tag team champion.
100%, 100%. And he's so good right now on the microphone and his character work that it covers up his flaws in the ring. So,
I mean,
uh,
he doesn't even have to do much microphone work. Like the crowd does
he
it for
doesn't.
him.
The crowd just fucking hates that guy.
It's a meme at this point.
Like, the boos are just insane. I mean, and they just go on forever. Like they drown out everything he's saying. I love that he just tries to talk through 'em most of the time because what else are you gonna do? But it's like, dude, yeah, it's
You can't
brutal.
stand there for 10 minutes until the crowd gets tired.
No,
You
and they
just gotta
probably
keep.
won't get
You just
tired.
gotta
I mean,
keep
it's a
going.
WWE crowd, and these are fans. They'll do that for 3 hours if you want to stand there. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, so, but yeah, Dom got the
I'm
win.
just glad that they're not wetting him. They're actually booing.
Yeah. So let's see. Dom got the win. Then we had Nia Jax. What is going on here with my thing here? Hold on, sorry. Nia Jax came to the ring and Michael Cole asked her what was going on. And she said, I'm here to beat everybody up. I don't care. Blah, blah, blah. She didn't get to talk very long before Zoe Starks came out and said nothing and just attacked her and then got beat up ultimately. And then it led to Nia and Zoe in a match when we came back from the break, and Nia got the win. Eh, it is what it is. I mean, I like Nia Jax, so I'm here for her being back. Zoe Starks, I think, has a bright future. I like her as a women's wrestler, so I mean, I don't have a problem with this, other than the fact that Zoe basically got squashed. Oh, spicy queso funyuns.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I do like a good funyun. I don't know about spicy queso, but uh, then we had Drew on Miz TV. And these two went back and forth, talked a little shit. Miz asked him why he didn't save Jey Uso last week. And Drew says, blah, if you had someone that beat you up for months and years, would you fucking help them too? And then the New Day came out, criticized Drew. It was Kofi and Xavier Woods came out and had a little bit of a laugh at the expense of Drew, just kind of on the mic, and asked him, why he was how they wouldn't do that, even though, yeah, Jay's been on the
Yeah,
other
he's supposed
side,
to be the
doing every,
hero. He's supposed to be the guy to look up to, and
right, and how he's being a jerk basically, and how everyone deserves a second chance, and that means that Jay Uso deserves a second chance, and that devolved into
Drew told them, "Well, since Jay's got here, y'all haven't talked to him once. Y'all have been avoiding him yourselves. So, like, why is it on me?" Also, every time that the Miz would go to talk, Drew would then go, "Shut up, Miz. Shut up, Miz." Miz was all, when my hand goes, "Shut up, Miz."
yeah, and then ultimately punched Miz when Miz kept talking. And then it ended up ultimately in Kofi versus Drew. Drew got the win in a solid match. And then Ivar came down and attacked Kofi, furthering the Viking Raiders and New Day feud, and gave Drew a chance to walk out and leave Kofi Kingston to be attacked. So now he's left Jay Uso and Kofi Kingston, which I can't imagine is anything but the foreshadowing of a Drew McIntyre heel turn. They might as well just go ahead and do it. We can all see it coming. I'm
Who's
assuming
going to be
just
Drew's tag team partner now that he's a heel?
I don't know. They should be Sheamus again. I don't know.
Well, Sheamus is on SmackDown. He's got his own.
Oh, that's right. He is on SmackDown, and he's with the Brawling Brutes or whatever. Yeah. Who knows? That's a good question. Does he need a tag team partner, or can he just be solo Jolo Drew, solo Dolo Drew?
How about Robert Roode? Can we get Robert
Oh,
Roode and
yeah. Where's
Drew?
Robert Roode? He's been out injured, I believe, right?
Like, I would dig that. I think that the two of them would work well together. They got some history in TNA, but I mean,
Yeah. Then we had the main event, which should be no surprise to people because this is the main Raw storyline at the moment, which is Judgment Day and Sammy and KO and Kofi and Jey or Kofi, Cody and Jey Uso. So this whole like vortex around these guys. This is for the tag team titles again. This was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn's shot at getting back their titles from Judgment Day. Judgment Day ultimately won. It was a big clusterfuck that
yeah.
was what it
Just to be
was.
clear, the JD stands for Judgment Day, not McDonough.
Correct. Anything you want to say about the closing segment of Raw?
I love Sammy. I love KO. I dig Judgment Day. I'm getting a little tired of the feud. They need to do something to switch it up or something.
I agree. I agree. It's already getting a little stale. I think Jey Uso was supposed to try to be kind of the new injection of something into the storyline, but it hasn't quite worked out that way yet. So I guess we'll just have to see. So that was it for Raw. What did you think overall of the show? Excuse me. Front,
Middle of the
middle, back
pack,
of the pack? Huh?
middle.
I agree.
It
I think
wasn't
middle's a good
great,
spot.
but it wasn't terrible.
No, I thought it was an okay show. I thought that honestly, I thought NXT was probably better this week. I thought it was a decent go home
Yes.
show. So on done last week or last night's NXT, which started with the finals of the yes, the finals of the Heritage Cup tournament, uh, which was Butch versus Joe Coffey. The winner gets Noam Dar for the Heritage Cup at No Mercy this Sunday, which we'll talk about after we talk about NXT and we preview No Mercy real quick. So this was a solid match. Butch got the win, so Butch will go on to face Noam Dar in at No Mercy. Anything you want to say about that match?
No.
All right. Then we had Trick versus Joe Gacy, which was a solid match. Trick got the win. Um, and then we saw Trick backstage. He wants to talk to HBK. He's convinced that Dragon Lee, shouldn't have another shot at Rey Mysterio, that he should get a shot because He deserves one. I don't know if I agree with that, but whatever. So he's off to try to talk to HBK. We assume about that. In the
I
meantime,
mean, if somebody loses twice, like give somebody else a shot, right?
yeah, yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I agree for sure. Uh, Then we had Baron Corbin versus Josh Briggs, which on paper looked like a really good match. I don't think it quite came off as good as I thought it would be. But
I
it
liked
wasn't
it.
bad. I didn't think it was bad. They just didn't quite give it enough time. They didn't let either guy really hit their stride. It felt like it never got out of like first gear really, um, which
These
is
are both of
unfortunate.
your boys.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because these are both my boys, and both of these guys can really wrestle. So it's unfortunate that they didn't give them enough time. Maybe we'll see another match with them down the road where they give them more time. But really, this is just a vessel for the Braun and Baron continued storyline. Braun came to the ring, attacked Baron. Those two had to be separated, and those two are fighting each other at no mercy. That's really the story going on here.
They continued to brawl throughout the entire rest of the show.
They did, and they were in the most dangerous place in WWE in the NXT parking lot at the end of the show, brawling as well. Uh, then we had um, the fun part of the show. I thought this was fucking
Oh
hysterical.
yes, yes,
The
agreed.
family at the dinner table, they're going to have a sit down. Stacks and Tony D are going to have a sit down with all of their number one contenders, I guess. So we get Los Losarios, Angel and Humberto first, and then
The grandsons of Hector Garza.
so they have a little tete-a-tete first. They're the first ones at the table. They talk a little bit, and then we have some other stuff go on, and then the Creeds come to the table ultimately, and then those two are at the table, and they're
Which
talking.
honestly, this is the best that the Creeds have looked all year.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And
Like
we won't
they've
even
they've
talk about
really been
that
struggling.
weird segment where they were on the beach with the suntan with the sunblock on. Yeah, the week after they were kicked off NXT, and I don't know what they were doing. Um, but yeah, and then we had OTM, which the announcers made sure to make sure that we all know is out the mud. So that is the name of the tag team. It is Lucian Price and oh my god, I'm drawing a blank on the other dude's name. No, my god. I had his name and now I'm drawing a total blank on it. Anyhow, Out the Mud had a match with Hank and Tank, and they won. And they then arrived at Tony D's table, where they proceeded to give themselves a seat at the table, basically. And
Um,
now we have. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, so Scripps,
Yes. Is
he is from my area.
okay.
He uh, he used to be in a gang.
Okay.
He cleaned up his act. He got
Okay.
a job with Cirque du Soleil. He's a father taking care of his kids. Like he's a man who really turned his life around. And the
Nice.
current gimmick he's doing is kind of pulling the strings at his troubled past.
Interesting. Yes. So
And
Scripps slash Reggie uh, is their manager, I guess, if you want to call him that. I guess their hype
mhm.
man, whatever you want to call him. Um, and so they're like his muscle is more what it looks like, but he's not really wrestling. They are. So it is what it is. But they ultimately get invited to the table. They don't get invited to the table. They show up and give themselves a spot at the table. And Tony D says it's okay, and ultimately offers a fatal four-way at No Mercy. So we're gonna get
I
out the
I I
mud. Go ahead.
I like someone who can turn their life around like that, who can be a good father to his kids, like he has an inspirational story that if they wanted to tell, they could tell.
Yeah.
And like I have a lot of respect for him, and especially because he's from my area, like makes me like him even more. He's local boy.
Yeah. This ultimately, like I said, ended up in the family. Tony D setting up a fatal four way with the family. versus Los Losarios versus the Creeds versus OTM at No Mercy for the tag team titles. So that should be an interesting match. We'll talk about that when we preview No Mercy here in a few minutes. That led to our next segment, which was Blair Davenport warning Gigi Dolan that she didn't blah blah blah. She assaulted her in the back. More just Blair Davenport with Gigi Dolan stuff. There's more of this continued storyline. I don't know if you anything you want to say about it. She attacked her. Blair attacked her again, and it is.
I was reminded of when JC Jane kicked her through the door, but the door didn't break, so she kept kicking her.
Yeah, that's funny. Then we had what should have been a much better match than I thought it was. Dijak versus Thorpe in the strap match. I think it was bad. I just wanted to strap match. I expect more, I guess.
Yeah.
There were some decent spots. The spot where Dijak pulled Thorpe out of the ring and drug him over in front of his niece, who's like must be 7 or 8 years old, and whipped him like 10 times with the strap, and the niece is crying, and it was perfect for television. Like it was
Hmm.
great. So there was that. That was probably the highlight of the match for me, really. Thorpe got the win. I kind of hope that this ends their feud. I don't know that it will, but who
I mean,
knows?
after that spot, he had to win the match, right?
Sure, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, you got the crying niece, you got his family all upset. Yeah, I mean, he's got to win now because Dijak's a total douchebag, right? So, um, and then we had another kind of reoccurring theme that took place throughout the night that I hadn't talked about yet, but we've got JC Jane giving Thea Hale basically a makeover, um, and then it
So
ultimately
weird.
comes into this segment where Thea Hale shows off her new look backstage to Andre and Duke. Andre's not real happy about it, but Duke's like, "Hey, look at it. She's hot." So just let it go, and Chase kind of changes his tone. Yeah, it's really bad. I mean, this is one of those terribly
Even Booker T
classic.
trying to put it over on commentary, and I really love Booker T's commentary. Not as
I
much
do
as when
too.
he was Black Snow doing commentary, but I still love his commentary.
Yeah,
But just him trying to sell it of, oh, she's not the girl next door anymore. This 18-year-old girl's a woman now, and it's
right.
like
Yeah,
that. I feel that feels so weird. Feels so
it does.
weird.
It feels kind of dirty and slimy, and it's definitely one of those classic WWE sexist storylines. Where it's like this is yeah. I mean, it's you got to look
It
hotter in order to, whatever,
it
whatever.
it feels like Johnny Ace wrote this, and I
Yeah,
don't like that.
yeah. Which ultimately led to Cia Hale versus Danny Palmer. Cia Hale got the win as she should. She's the one being pushed. This is her story right here. She's in new ring gear, which looks like every other woman's ring gear, essentially, but a little more scantily clad, I guess. But I mean, they all wear that same kind of pseudo bondage gear to a certain extent with the straps and the, whatever, whatever. But yeah, this is scantily clad. Hey, Cia Hale is hot. I'm not opposed to it, but it's weird. I don't know. It is what it is. Fia got the win. Um, it ultimately led to, well, didn't ultimately lead to, it took us to Trick revealed to Axiom and Bait that he'd been added to the triple threat match. They were not happy, and everyone attacked him. Well, they ultimately attacked him, but which led us to the triple threat match. Excuse me, which was Trick ultimately defeating Axiom, Bait, and Dragon Lee by pinfall to get his shot against Dominic Mysterio at No Mercy. So we were complaining that we didn't necessarily need to see Dragon Lee again and that it was time for someone else to have a shot. And to be fair, Axiom and Bait haven't had a shot at him either. So, and now with Trick
But
winning,
wait, there's more.
but Trick got the shot. Trick gets the shot on Saturday. So go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Dragon Lee is going to be the special guest referee, so expect
That is
shenanigans.
that is correct. Dragon Lee will be the special guest referee. So yeah, we can only imagine what that will look like. Hopefully, even though I'm not sure Trick's the guy that I envisioned winning it off of Dominic when this whole thing began. I hope Dragon Lee helps Trick win, eat the belt off of Dominic here for at least a minute.
I
Um,
mean, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Uh, it would be nice to have a moment of Mello and Trick both being champions.
yeah. Then we had Mackenzie backstage with Dom, who said he told Shawn Michaels that he runs NXT now, and for that he got attacked by Dragon Lee and beat up. So uh, then we had a Brian Pillman career like weird package, and there was a shadowy, unseen figure in the background. Did you see that? Um,
I
uh,
think I went to go pee and I missed this because I
so
did
they
not
were
remember
showing
that.
highlights of Brian Pillman's career, um, and a shadowy figure, and I guess the general consensus is that it's going to be Brian Pillman Jr. coming back. So
Damn.
it was odd. I wasn't totally sure what to make of it. And then we had what I
I
hate
usually don't expect much from vignettes, so I don't always watch them. Sometimes
One
I'll
of the
get
things I
upset.
hate most in wrestling, we had a contract signing, and this one didn't disappoint. It was terrible as usual. It was Ilya and Mello sitting at a table. I didn't think this promo battle came off very well at all. Ilya struggled a little bit at times. I thought he fumbled over his words a little too much for him, and I don't know. I hate these stupid contract signings, but ultimately they both signed, and it is what it is. We're gonna get the match at No Mercy for
I
Mello's
think
time.
AEW probably does them the best, and still they're not great.
No, they're not great. Anything you want to say about the contract signing?
Not really.
All right. Which should was slated as the end of the show, but it really wasn't because then the most dangerous place in WWE, the camera was there, and we had Braun and Baron Corbin fighting in the parking lot. And they ultimately went through the wall into Shawn Michaels' office. So further, this is how it went off the air, further hyping up their match at No Mercy, which should be very good. I'm excited for it. I thought this NXT did a really good job of building up for No Mercy. This was the go home show. I thought they did a really good job of that. I thought this was a really good episode of NXT, even with the down match for me, which was Thorpe and Dijak. And when you have a strap match and that's the down match, that's saying a lot. Um, because it's still a strap match and it's still fun. So I thought it was better than Raw this week. I thought this was front of the pack for NXT. What'd you think?
Um, I didn't get Gulak and Dempsey, and that disappointed me. But aside from that, I thought it was a good show.
Yeah. All right. So now, but we'll round off the show with a kind of quick fire, No Mercy preview. That is this Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We will be live for the watch along. We'll be doing Collision. That Saturday night is all right. We'll be doing Collision and No Mercy at the same time. So I don't know what the match order will be. I tried to put them in a little bit of the order I think it might be, but again, this is in no particular order. We're going to have No Amdar versus Butch for the NXT Heritage Cup. I kind of think this might be leading off the show, but I don't know. You never know. Um, and what do you think?
It could go either way, but like if Butch wins, I expect him to actually like do something with that.
Yeah, I
Like
assume that.
that's the thing is that if Noam Dar wins, Butch can just go back to SmackDown and keep doing his thing with the Brawling Brutes. But if Butch wins, like make a freaking storyline for him. Like give him something. Let him chew
Yeah,
his teeth with something.
I agree. And the reality is, No Amdar's what had this now for 3 years, and it's done nothing really. I mean, it hasn't elevated him. It hasn't elevated the Heritage Cup. I don't think it's made it any more interesting. Metaphor is terrible. Um, I'm a huge Ocean's 11 fan, and the fact that they came out and were like dressed in tribute to that movie, I was very pissed. So, needless to say, I didn't like that. I am here for Butch all the time, every day of the week, and twice on
Mm-hmm.
Sunday. He's one of my favorite wrestlers when it really boils down to it, and I can't stand Noam Dar. I think Noam Dar is an amazing wrestler, but I don't like him. And you're not supposed to, so he's doing his job well. So I hope Butch gets this win here. Let's see. Then we're gonna get Dominic Mysterio versus Trick Williams for the NXT North American Championship. What do you honestly think happens here?
I would assume Trick wins.
Oh. With the help of Dragon Lee as the official?
Maybe.
What about you think this is the return of Mommy? Mommy comes back and helps Dominic retain because she's now been gone for 3 weeks or so. I mean, is this
There's
her?
a good chance that Dom takes Dragon Lee out and a new ref has to come in too. Like,
Yeah, there you go. That could
this
be.
could go several different ways.
So ultimately, who's your pick? I mean, we're not. We'll make our formal picks for our our Workhorse Wrestling Network Championship, and it might be your same pick. But for right now, who's your pick for the?
I'll go with Trick at a 60% chance.
All right. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Trick too. I think this is the spot for him to win, especially if Dragon Lee is the I don't think this is the end of Dominic's run with the title. I think he'll end up winning it again, but I think Trick wins here. Then we will have Becky Lynch versus Tiffany Stratton in an Extreme Rules match for the NXT Women's Championship. Again, no particular order to these matches. I don't know when this match will actually take place, but
Probably
should
second
be
to last.
should be interesting. I think. I mean, Becky's always a good wrestler. Extreme Rules should be fun. Tiffany seems to wrestle better when she wrestles people that are better wrestlers. She's still pretty green and still needs a lot of work. I assume Becky Lynch retains here. Um, but what do you think?
That match she had against Thea Hale was so rough.
Uh, yes, it was.
Like I liked Tiffany until that match, and then I'm like, yeah, I don't really like Tiffany anymore.
Yeah. So you got
The
Becky
man's gonna
retaining.
hold the title until Jade.
Yeah. Okay. Um, what's the time frame on her? Is there a chance that Jade could show up at at No Mercy, or is that too soon after her contract? Do you know when her NDA expires? I mean, is there a chance she shows up here?
I have no idea.
So
Like
assuming that we know and that we're following the news properly, and Jade is coming to WWE, you think she starts in NXT or you think she starts the main roster?
I I think she starts in NXT, but wins the women's title like immediately.
Okay. So this might, I mean, assuming that she can, this might be a decent spot for her to come out and make her WWE debut, challenge Becky to a match at whatever's next. I don't know what's next on the NXT pay per view schedule. I'd have to look that up, but so maybe. What do you think the chances are, if you had to put a percentage on it, of Jade coming back, coming to WWE, making her debut this Saturday at No Mercy? What do you think it is?
1 in 4, 25%.
Yeah, it seems probably about right. I'll probably go a little bit lower. I think it's probably closer to about 15 or 20%. I think they'll save it for a bigger moment, but it is an NXT PLE, so you never know. I mean, who knows? For NXT, I'm not sure what's bigger, so or what's much bigger. So the only thing that would be bigger would be an NXT match on a main roster PLE somewhere that she could come out. So it would be like a full blown pay per view where Jade would make her debut as opposed to just an NXT pay per view. But
I I don't think AEW does non-competes, but the thing
okay.
is I don't know if her contract is actually up. Is the
Ah,
thing.
interesting. Okay. Well, I guess we'll find out if she shows up or not. Um, then we have Braun Breaker versus Baron Corbin. Who do you think ends up taking the win here?
Oof. I'll go with Braun, but like I'll be happy either way.
Yeah, I kind of want to see Baron Corbin win just to kind of keep this feud going. I like this feud, and I want to see them have maybe another match or two. So I think Baron wins the first one, and Braun's upset, and Braun comes back and beats him the second time, and maybe they have a rubber match at some point. But this is the most interested I've been in Braun Breaker ever, and that's probably because he's with Baron Corbin. And I like Baron Corbin, so I'm here for this. Um, so and then we will have the family in the four-way for the tag team championships against the Creed brothers, Los Lotharios, and Out the Mud, OTM. Who you got here? What do you think? What do you think happens?
I'll go with Los Humbertos Garzas.
Los Humbertos Garzas. All right. So Sammy Joe is picking Los Lotharios to come out here with the win. Interesting. I don't know. Like the Creeds have been very directionless. They probably could really use the titles, but I don't think the family's given it up yet. I don't know that HBK wants to take it off them. I think Tony and Stax are doing a good job, and I like them with the titles on them. It really wouldn't surprise me for some bizarre reason, OTM getting the win here out of nowhere, just because kind of the way they hyped him up and brought him to the table so quick, like a little flash in the pan, and then maybe the family gets it back right away or something. I don't know, but I think the family
OTM would
probably
be my
retains
second
it.
choice,
Yeah,
and the family would be my third. I have the Creed brothers fourth, last. I
yeah,
don't
I
think
think
you
it's.
give the title to somebody just because you don't have a story for them.
I
Like
agree.
that
I
seems
agree.
self-defeating.
I agree. I think it's most likely the family retains just because, like you said, I think that the most viable candidate that seems to have any kind of real direction at all or anything is OTM, and they're so new that it'd be weird to put the titles on them. Los Lotharios and the Creed Brothers haven't been doing anything really. This is the first thing that they've done really with anything, and there's no real
Los
why.
Lotharios hasn't been doing matches, but they've been doing the vignettes of like Spanish soap opera sort of
Right, right,
stuff.
right, right. Sure, that is true. So they
And
have been on TV a little bit. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I
I
think the
I,
family
I dig the
retains.
whole Spanish soap opera stuff. I dig it. I like it. I'm down to see more of it,
And
especially if
then,
it leads to them feuding with like the family after.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I think there's a
for
lot you could do.
for my money here, uh, Los Humbertos Garzas is probably the best wrestling team out of the four of them. They're by
Hmm.
far probably the two best wrestlers out of the group. So I don't have a
Well,
problem with them
they
being
both have
champions.
like a couple years of experience on the main roster too.
Yeah, so I don't have any problem with them being champions. They can both talk. They both have the skills and the look, and they're very talented. So I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. I would be
Well, for the
surprised if they
longest
win.
time, Umberto couldn't talk.
That's true. That's true.
Like Angel can talk up a storm. Umberto really struggled with it, but he's been coming along and he's definitely improved.
He's definitely improved. Yeah, yeah. Angel can really talk. Umberto's definitely gotten better. I like them both. Um, and so I mean, but I just for some reason it doesn't feel like they're going to come out with the win. I don't know. It feels like the family's going to retain just because there isn't really a viable candidate here. That's why they have these mismatched fatal four way, and I don't know. Who knows? We'll see.
I would have had them in the LWO with Santos.
Yeah,
Like I don't understand why they weren't.
yeah. That doesn't make any sense to me either. That
Zelina
brings
used to manage
us,
them.
huh?
Zelina used to manage them,
Yep. Yeah. I mean, there's
and
all those connections.
their grandfather's an original member, Hector Garza.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not just that they're Latino; it's that there's other connections as well. I mean, it's not just let's put you know, all the Latino wrestlers together. I mean, technically they have a legacy in LWO, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
with their dad and then Selena. So,
Grandfather.
yeah. All right, so that brings us to our main event of No Mercy. Well, what I assume will be the main event of No Mercy, which will be Carmelo Hayes versus Ilya Dragunov for the NXT Championship. On paper, this is probably the best match. I'm very excited for this match. I thought the first one was really good. The second one should be even better. And I hope personally that Ilya Dragunov gets the win here. I think this is his spot to be NXT champion for a minute. And yeah, I'm going with Ilya.
I don't know, like, because I thought Ilya was going to win the last time, and it seems that every time I vote against Carmelo, Carmelo wins.
Yeah.
So I think if I vote for Carmelo, he's going to lose it. So I vote for Carmelo.
Well, Melo never misses, so
Well,
yep. All right.
because I'm voting for him, he's going to miss because I'm going to miss.
That's right. That's right. All right. So that's the end of our quick fire preview of NXT No Mercy. And it brings us to the end of this episode of All for Naught, this week's review of Monday Night Raw, which we thought was middle of the pack, kind of thumbs in the middle show. And NXT from last night, which was really good. We both thought that was front of the pack, a good go home show for No Mercy this Saturday. Please join us this Saturday for Saturday Night is All Right on YouTube. We will be live watching AEW Collision and WWE No Mercy. So, we're going to do a little bit of house cleaning, and I'm going to put on our little commercial, our Workhorse Wrestling commercial, and here you guys go.
Hey everybody, this is the Workhorse Wrestling Network schedule for this week. Ladies and gentlemen, Mondays on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, you have entered the square circle at 11 a.m. Let me tell you, Sammy and ALW, they battling it out to see who will be the Enter the Square Circle champion. Listen, you can't miss an episode. It is riveting. Okay? So, just a little secret. Tune in 11 a.m. on Monday. Tuesday, it's Seeing Stars, 10:30 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. But ladies and gentlemen, I know I'm about to break your heart. We're taking a break because your girl needs some rest, okay? But when we come back, it's going to be fire because we're going to be seeing these stars from New Japan Pro Wrestling and GCW and Stardom. You ain't going to want to miss that either. But then the real party starts at 10:30 at night on Tuesday on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter at the Cookout, where they play fire games and talk hot topics and have a good time. You're going to have to pull you up a seat because we're going to feed you real good. Ladies and gentlemen, on Wednesdays, all 4 night at 11:30 p.m., that's where you're going to find the WWE meet, okay? It is going to be Raw and NXT with Sammy and ALW, and they preview WWE pay-per-views. Can't miss it. Can't miss it. YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Ladies and gentlemen, Thursday is live aftermath of Dynamite at 10:15 p.m. on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Listen, we talk all things AEW, Rampage, Collision, the Dynamite from the day before. We preview shows coming up. We preview pay-per-views coming up. That is your one-stop shop for AEW. If you want to find out what happened, tune in at 10:15. Then on Friday, that's when the party starts for the weekend. Friday Night Fights at 8 p.m. on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Starting off at 8 p.m. with WWE SmackDown. And you're going to get the SmackDown from Anika and Sammy, I tell you. But then our parents, one of the parents, CM and ALW, going to come in and they just going to rampage everywhere. So you got to see it, okay? But then you wake up Saturday morning, and you know what you're going to get? Under the Radar with CM and ALW. And you know what you're going to find? BTE, Impact, ROH, all these great things on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch at 11 a.m. Okay? If you missed out on the week, they'll catch you up. And it ain't going to take forever either. Ladies and gentlemen, on Saturday night, it's Saturday Night is All Right at 8 p.m. when we watch AEW Collision. Ladies and gentlemen, it's gonna be great. We have a great time. That's generally when we all come back together again and have a good time on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday's supposed to be our day off. But you know, if it's a pay-per-view, it's a Workhouse Wrestling Network. So make sure you tune in. If there's a pay-per-view on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we will be there. Ladies and gentlemen, you see this icon, YouTube audio, you can listen to us live, play hot games, talk hot topics. Just be great, okay? Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you see this icon on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, click it the next day and you can listen all to the party we had the day before. Ladies and gentlemen, also, last but not least, if you see this on YouTube audio, click it, okay? Because you know what you're going to get? You get to listen to us watch along live to pay-per-views and shows and have a good time, okay? Because we dropping gems. You got Sammy with the food, CM with the knowledge, Anika with the good hard movies and work. And you got ALW, who he just drops old school wisdom. Okay? So make sure you join us. Until then, I want to let you know, peace.
All right. On that note, we out. Peace.
Wrestle Dream Sunday.